Finally, we've reached the end of Wonder Woman's debut. This time, she's going up against the Count of Conquest, and as unlikely as it may seem, he actually wins. He wins the fight. It's true, I'm not lying. Where the Earl of Greed and the Duke of Deception completely failed, the Count of Conquest just comes into play and wins the day. Of course, Wonder Woman wins in the end, but really this story had me on the edge of my seat for a moment there. So what do we know about Conquest? Well, we know, much like his peers, he has the ability to astral project himself and manipulate the minds of men, except he doesn't compel people to greed and he doesn't lie to them. The Count of Conquest incites violence in any way that he can. He pushes people into conflict, and during times of war, he is particularly deadly. In fact, it's said that he, more than anyone else, is responsible for holding Earth in a perpetual state of war. So as I said before, Conquest is special in that he succeeds where his other two brothers failed. This story, unlike the others, is merely 11 pages with 2 bonus pages at the end. It moves at a rather brisk pace, and we do get to see Conquest capture Wonder Woman and also the downfall of Mars. So without further distraction, let's get into it. As we can see in this opening page, Wonder Woman is going to be doing a little boxing in this issue. It looks like she's going toe-to-toe with a mammoth of a man, but it doesn't look like she's having much trouble knocking him out of the ring. We open with Mars. He discovers that the Duke of Deception's slave ship is returning from its journey, and he goes to meet the Duke at the dock. The Duke is ashamed of his loss to Wonder Woman and tries to disguise himself as a woman to escape. But of course, Mars is too clever to fall for that and throws him in jail for his incompetence. Next, Mars calls upon the Count of Conquest to succeed where his brothers failed. Conquest immediately has a plan. Much like how Greed worked with the Nazis and Deception teamed up with the Japanese, Conquest calls upon the Italians, the final arm of the Axis powers, to defeat Wonder Woman. The Italians decide to send their greatest warrior, an 8-foot giant named Mamotha, to defeat Wonder Woman. To make matters worse, Conquest decides to possess Mamotha, granting him superhuman strength. I do want to note here that this is the first time that Wonder Woman has had to face someone who is her physical equal in combat. Mamotha is the first villain she has faced who has the strength to match her, and as we're going to see in a moment, it actually leads to a pretty fantastic battle. So the Italians take Mamotha to America, where they put him in the boxing circuit. Using his enhanced strength, he is easily able to climb the ladder and become a prize fighter. This catches the notice of Wonder Woman, who decides to go with Steve Trevor to watch the championship fight. Mamotha is in the ring, exciting the audience with his feats of incredible strength, and when it comes time to fight the champion, he makes short work of his opponent. Now Mamotha is the champion, and he wants to fight Wonder Woman. She agrees to the fight as long as the winnings get donated to charity. They square up in the ring and Mamotha lays into Wonder Woman pretty hard. Then, as a shock to everyone, Wonder Woman actually goes down for the round after taking a series of heavy blows. This is a trick, however, in order to raise the prize pool. The fight promoter agrees to raise the donations from $5,000 to $50,000, and Wonder Woman agrees to fight to the finish. Now that the prize pool is much higher, Wonder Woman knocks out Mamotha in just one punch. He's out cold, and he is not coming back. Wonder Woman wins the money, and the fight promoter invites her to his office to write her a check. This turns out to be a trap, however, and Wonder Woman is electrocuted into unconsciousness. Conquest reveals himself, and without any costly antics, he promptly binds her and transports her back to Mars on his ship, and he actually wins. Wonder Woman is captured and bound. She loses her powers, and Conquest completes his mission without incident. So at this point, Conquest leaves the story, and if you ask me, he leaves the story as a winner. We don't see him again, and Wonder Woman never gets her revenge. Of course, he appears in other issues, but as of this story, he's done his part, and he leaves, undefeated. Now Wonder Woman is presented to Mars for his pleasure, and he does the classic supervillain thing. He hangs her in a dungeon, and he has her tortured. Mars is put in such a good mood by this that he agrees to set both the Earl of Greed and the Duke of Deception free from the dungeon so they can fight again another day. Having lost all hope, Wonder Woman uses her telepathy to contact Etta Candy to mount a rescue. She's always contacting Etta. I don't get it. I don't know what she expects Etta Candy to do since she's currently being held prisoner on Mars in space. What is she gonna do? Build a rocket? So now Mars decides to put Wonder Woman on a trial for war crimes. Of course, this is a total farce, but it's entertaining enough to see Wonder Woman on the receiving end of harsh justice. They sentence her to be the personal slave of Mars, mind, body, and soul. But in the middle of it, a new slave ship full of females arrives, and who is on that ship? It's Etta Candy. How does she get there? It doesn't say. But she's smuggling acid, which she uses to break Wonder Woman free of her chains. Now that she is free, Wonder Woman has her power back and breaks out of the prison. Now that Wonder Woman's free, she goes on a rampage and gives Mars an extreme pounding. Luckily, he falls onto some experimental explosives, which cause Mars's headquarters to burn to the ground, ending his evil schemes and leaving Earth safe from the threat of war. Wonder Woman then steals a spaceship and returns safely back to Earth. And so that's it for Mars for now. He's defeated, but it's important to note, just like Wonder Woman says, Mars can't be killed. He is a force of nature and eventually he will return. So the fight is never really over. This is true because not only would Mars return to battle Wonder Woman again, he would also evolve over the years to become an even more powerful and deadly opponent. But for now, this issue is completed. There are only 2 pages left to show you, which covers the period in which Wonder Woman returns to Earth and decides to continue selling war bonds, which is something I don't quite understand. I thought Wonder Woman was against war, but she sure does like supporting it with bonds. I don't know, go figure. I guess she enjoys war, but only if you're on the side of America. Anyway, these are the pages. Wonder Woman has returned to Earth and is lauded as a hero for defeating Mars. But we learn that war is still far from over, and the Axis must be defeated for the freedom of all mankind. So Wonder Woman is here to sell war bonds, and to do that, she brought with her a young man from the war front to tell us his story about how the bonds saved his life. He was a downed Air Force pilot, he crashed and had severe injuries, and would have died if not for Wonder Woman dropping him a war bundle from her invisible jet. She could have picked him up, but whatever. The bundle contained food, medicine, and a blanket so he could sleep, and a helmet to protect him from bullets. And because of this, he was able to survive his ordeal and return home to tell his story. So go ahead and buy those war bonds to protect our boys on the fighting front. So what do you think? You're gonna buy war bonds now? Nah, I didn't think so. So that's it for this series on Wonder Woman. Next up is going to be Dr. Poison, if everything goes according to plan. She is a far more interesting villain than I gave her credit for. I was genuinely surprised when I was doing my research, so, stay tuned for that one. That'll be good. Anyway, if you liked reading this comic with me and you want to read more, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you really want to help out, why not donate to my Patreon? But until next time, nerds, stay heroic.